mi burrito sabanero.
Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. If it's Wednesday, we have a cocktail video coming at you. Today we are continuing with our Venezuelan month, and since it is the fall moving into winter, and also Venezuelan month, we are going to do Ponche Crema. Ponche Crema is something that's very similar to an eggnog that is served in Venezuela around the holidays in the winter and fall time period. So it is typically going to be an egg-based cocktail because it's very much like an eggnog. However, we're actually going to do two different kinds. We're going to do an egg-based and then a non-egg-based version. The non-egg-based version will not be vegan because it still does have heavy cream in it, but it won't have eggs. So I went ahead and went into the kitchen and I recorded this stuff. This is the first time I've recorded in our kitchen, so I'm not sure how well it's going to look, but we're going to cut to now, me in the kitchen making these drinks. Okay, so we're going to make our first of the two Ponche Cremas. Now I'm just going to do this kind of quickly. I'm not going to show you the whole process of absolutely everything. We're going to toss our ingredients in and kind of show you a little bit along the way because I've never recorded in here and I'm not sure exactly how well this is going to turn out. But firstly, we're going to start off with our milk. So we've got our pan already heating up here. We're going to toss in a half a liter of milk. And we're going to toss in half a liter of our heavy cream. As I said when we were doing our eggnogs last year, this is not diet food. So we're going to toss in heavy cream. So we got a liter total in there. And what we also have is 180 grams of sugar. So the recipe that I found, I'm going to link the video below. We're supposed to toss a little bit of that sugar in with our egg yolks. I'm tossing that over there now. And the rest just going to go right in. And the key to this is going to be hopefully anyway, the key to this is going to be cooking it very, very low over quite a while. So we're going to let that simmer. We want to make sure our sugar gets entirely melted into the mixture, and we'll come back when that's all done. Okay, so we've got our sugar melted into our mixture of our heavy cream and our milk. So we need to add our eggs, but there's a little bit of a problem. We need to get it, and there's a term for it that's escaping me right now. You need to get the egg yolks ready. I should say it's 5 egg yolks. I'll put all the recipes down in the comments, in the description. It's 5 egg yolks, but the thing we want to be really careful of in doing this, we'll see if I can do it successfully or not. You want to make sure you get your egg yolks mixed in before they start to cook. Otherwise, you've just got chunks of egg yolk in your mixture, and that's something nobody wants. So what we're going to start off by doing is we are going to take a little ladle. We're going to take just a little bit of our heated mixture. We're going to toss that into our egg yolk, and I'm going to mix that up real good, and then I'm going to toss it up here and mix that up real good, and then we're going to turn it down on the lowest heat possible and just let it simmer until it gets the consistency that we want. Alright, so we think we got that mixed in there okay, but we're going to keep stirring this for a while, and then we're going to add in our spices. Also, we're going to wait till the very end, till everything's cooled down before we add in our rum, because we don't want to cook any of the rum off because we like having rum in there. So we'll get back to when we're ready to stir in our spices. We've got our mixture heated up. Now we're going to go ahead and add some spices to it. Do some cinnamon. We're going to do some ground nutmeg. And we're going to do a little bit of ground clove. Just make sure you get that mixed in real well. The other thing we're looking for is our consistency, so we're going to check that. We've also got here is a little bit of cornstarch and water, and we can use that to thicken it up a little bit if we need to. We're going to check on that now. Okay, so we've got our mixtures all good to go. The only thing we have left to do is cool this down and add our rum. First thing I'm going to do is put this in an ice bath, hopefully. So I'm going to pour this through a fine mesh strainer. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work out, but I just want to make sure we don't get any big chunks in here because people don't like chunky drinks typically. Okay, based on what I got in the mesh strainer, we did pretty well. Really nothing came out. We're just going to cool this down, keep stirring it. Once this gets down to a little bit right around room temperature, then we're going to go ahead and add our rum, put it in the fridge and let it cool down, and then we'll be downstairs in the bar to taste this against our second one. So our mixture has cooled down to just a little above room temperature, so I'm going to go ahead and add our rum. Since we are doing Venezuela, we're of course going to add Diplomatico. I'm using Mantuana. And as a good cook, you have to sample your raw ingredients. I really like Mantuano. It's nice and rich. To be honest, I think given this versus the Reserva, the Reserva is obviously more expensive. I think the Mantuano is almost as good, but we'll get back to that later on. So we're going to use 3/4 cup. We're just going to dump that on in. Give it a good mix. We're now going to toss this in a pitcher, put it in the refrigerator, and we will be tasting it in just a few seconds. So now we're going to make our second recipe. So this is going to be flan based. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, and it says 1 package, which is like 2 ounces, but my package is 5.5 ounces. So I just weighed this out to about 50 grams. And 2 cups of milk. I'm going to start off by putting just a little bit of milk in there. And our flan. I'm going to give that a good mix as this heats up. We're going to bring that up to about a medium heat. Looks like this flan is actually mixing in pretty well, so we're going to heat this up. We're going to heat till it thickens, let it cool down, put it in something to let it set, and that's sort of the beginning part of this recipe. We've finished heating our mixture, so we're going to transfer this to another container. And this now has to go into the refrigerator for 2 hours for it to set completely. So we'll come back here when it's all set. So we've got our base here. It is solidified-ish. We're gonna call it good enough. It was in the fridge for about 2 hours, like they said. So we're gonna start off with just using that. I guess that actually solidified maybe better than I thought. There we go. Okay, so next we're gonna toss in 1 can of condensed milk. I'm just using the generic. And this stuff is real thick. And very, very, very sweet. We got about as much of that as we can get out of that can. And then this one actually calls for a cup instead of where the last one called for 3/4 cup. And we're going to toss that all into the Vitamix. And here we go. And there we have our second recipe. So we're going to toss this into a container, put it in the fridge, and tomorrow, or for you here in about 5 seconds, we're going to taste both of them, see which one we like the best. Okay, and we're back. So you got to see a little bit of what it takes to make these. The non-egg version is definitely much easier and quicker to make. The egg version is not. So this is the egg version. I'm just going to go ahead and pour these over a big cube into a rocks glass. There's our egg. I did not have the lid for this thing, so I just used a little bit of aluminum foil. All right. So I think I'm going to start off with the non-egg base. So again, this has a flan, like some of these has a flan base. It's really good. Yeah, it's very thick, very thick. Now when I made this, I think when I did my measurements, I might have put in a tiny bit more flan than they were calling for. Not much more, but just a tiny bit, but I don't think that's really a problem here. It's very vanilla-y. This one also, if you make this, you might have to mix it up a little bit. Both of them, they will start to separate a little bit, but it's not really a big deal. Just give it a good mix. So I could just sit here drinking these all night. And probably not feel very good tomorrow morning because there's a lot of sugar in these. All right, so now we're gonna try our egg base. This is kind of a tough decision. I can tell you, you're definitely going to fall down on one side or the other of these. So our non-egg base is, I would say, a little bit simpler. It's thicker, it's a little creamier, whereas our egg base is a little bit thinner. And I did add some cornstarch to these because it wasn't thickening up quite as much as I wanted it to. And it still is fairly viscous, but it is a little bit more complicated. You have a little bit more spices going on in this version. I think if you're drinking these all evening, you'd probably be better off over here. I think this is probably just a little bit too thick and a little bit too syrupy. Again, it tastes great. There's nothing wrong with flavor at all, but I think that you're probably going to get filled up on with all that kind of heavy stuff, whereas it's a little bit lighter of a cream-based cocktail. But I mean, they're both cream and egg, cream-based rum drinks, and they're fantastic. I would be happy with both of these. I think in the end, I would probably tilt towards the egg version, but this one's going to take you almost no time to make. It's going to take, there's a little bit of prep time, you know, with letting your flan set before you put it in the blender, but it's very easy. So yeah, I think it's up to you as far as which direction you decide to go. Thicker, creamier, a little sweeter, a little lighter, and a little bit more complex on this side. So whichever one of those sounds better, make that one, or do like I did and make both of them. All right, on that bombshell, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a good drink.